I think one of the things that makes us unique is that CMF just held its, believe it or not, its 32nd annual trip to Washington for philanthropy. There's no other regional association in the US that's been doing it for 32 years. And some people would say, Rob, you're still talking about the same issues you were talking about when you started it 18 years ago, let alone 32 years ago. And some of the issues don't change, because why are we doing this? Well, we're doing this to really make sure that that unique spirit of giving that's part of the American way of life, that's part of our culture in the US, doesn't get lost and doesn't get taken for granted. So the first thing we did was we realized we needed to make sure every year we're there, telling the story of philanthropy and the impact that organized philanthropy, that foundations are having, whatever type of foundation it is, in the districts of members of Congress as well as statewide for the senators. And the neat thing about it is they now look forward to seeing us. I mean, they expect us to come. If we're not coming, they would want to know what's going on, you know. And they really appreciate the fact that we are partnering with government. So the first part of our public policy work was really very much oriented towards defensiveness. How do we protect philanthropy? How do we make sure that Congress doesn't pass laws that puts philanthropy out of business? The second part of our public policy, which we really learned and grew into as we learned from these experiences, was the whole aspect of how do we partner with government around policy issues? And we realized that, you know, there used to be that belief that, well, foundation is the venture capitalist, we get something started, then we can turn it over to government, and they'll take it on and continue it and make it flourish and take it to scale. It doesn't work that way. So we realized that we really had to, if we were going to leverage philanthropy in all of its finest ways, and not just money, I mean, use the knowledge, the convening power of philanthropy strategically, we really realized that we had to expand our public policy work beyond government relations and the regulatory issues, and really look at key ways in which philanthropy in Michigan could be a partner with local government, state government, and the federal government. And not every partnership has been successful, but the good news is that we've had some really major successes along the way. CMF, on my predecessor, Dottie Johnson, obviously was the leader in this, was very involved in forming the Forum of Regional Associations of Grant Makers, which is the national network. There are 34 regional associations covering all 50 states. And one of the most important things that we could do was lend our experience, our expertise where it was appropriate to really helping others form regional associations as well. So CMF has been very involved in that activity. The second thing we did, and I'll just comment on a couple of these if I may, but the second activity that we learned was that we could spend all of our energy working with Congress, but that if another state didn't have the same type of relationships that we did, or didn't understand the benefit of having those relationships, we could have some real challenges on our hands, because clearly, while Michigan's important, the chairs of some of these other key committees are governed by people from Montana, Iowa, and other states. So one of the things that we did, which was important, was we really put a lot of emphasis in two areas. One, into foundations on the Hill. I explained to you that we've been doing it for 32 years. We gave a lot of our energy and resources into really making it a national program co-led by the Council on Foundations and the Forum of Regional Associations.